love in our family. Here it is right here. In this beautiful Colorado morning. So grateful to be here. Grateful that you're all gathering with us this morning as we have our summertime series here outdoors. If you need to know our guidelines for our new COVID guidelines, they're on the table in the back, and you can pick that up and see exactly what we're following. And we are following the state of Colorado health guidelines for having in-person services. So here we are. Thank you for being here this morning. We have a new congregant you can see milling around here that came to us this morning when we were setting up. Who was it that said they're just flocking to come to the service?
And we named it the Oming pigeon.
So this bird does appear to be hurt, and it may come around to you, and hopefully, I don't know what. It landed on my head. It liked to just be on my head, but Jeff's been kind of taking care of it there. So
now he's got a thing about loose feet.
Seems to love people, and it came to the right place, right? So, okay, so our July focus has been Let Freedom Ring. We've been talking about what freedom means kind of in a different way. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. First, some announcements. We had some technical difficulties with our Evensong on YouTube. We will put that out and email it to you as soon as if we get that up and running on YouTube. So I'm glad. Thank you so much for just hanging with us on all of this online stuff. We're trying. We are recording right now. Say hi to people on YouTube. We're recording. Yeah, they're out there. And I will post this tomorrow. We have not been able to live stream on YouTube or live stream. So, but we'll get it out there. We'll post it tomorrow so somebody can watch that online as well. Mariah, thank you so much for all the hats that you're wearing this morning. Yeah. yeah. So takes a village, right? So this coming Wednesday, I will be reading book shorts out of the book, The Gentle Art of Blessing. Okay, I did a blessing on the first Sunday out of that book. I will be reading, and it's not just full of blessings, it's full of really great ideas that this man has. So tune in for that. I'll be posting that on Wednesday night. We do have a YouTube channel, and we're just learning how to use it. So you could go to our YouTube channel. It is Center for Spiritual Life Delta, and if you subscribe, I understand now that helps us to be able to have more freedom on YouTube if you subscribe to our channel. So that's a good reason to do that. Any other announcements? The Sunday service is the only service that we're offering in person right now. All Wednesday services will still continue to be online. We plan that throughout the summer, throughout September, and we're just going to see how it goes. So thank you all for being so understanding about all of this. It's very crazy, isn't it?
Quite an adventure, anyway.
It's an adventure. Okay, the other good thing, did you all get a handout? Okay, I fixed the handout. Yeah. So, and the sentence that I had left off is one of the most important sentences of the whole vision. And it's actually what we're talking about a lot today. So if you guys would join me, first of all, let's just relax. I'm talking to myself mostly. Just relax and get into that center heart space where we all come together in that unified energy. And let's speak our vision together from that inner place. Okay, here we go. This center offers a path for awakening to the realization of oneness, open hearts, inspired life, empowered love. Our spiritual community welcomes all people to embrace oneness as the truth of our being. Together we see a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. And our mission statement? We recognize and realize the omnipresence of divine love as the truth of all.
I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place.
And in this quiet place, I invite you to join me as I bring my attention to the inner silence, that place that life itself lives, is each of us. That life is eternal spirit, the one creative energy and power that is the source of all. I call this God, expressing his unconditional love, wholeness, goodness, and perfection. And in this oneness, we are each a unique creation of God, with all the goodness of God as our birthright. We are each endowed with everything we need to live from our essence in peace, joy, harmony, wholeness, and perfection. We are individualized and unified in the oneness, We are the activity of God in action. And from this place of the fullness of Spirit, I declare that we each choose anew to see ourselves as powerful spiritual beings, fully aware that we are blessed by God in every way possible. I accept for each of us an expanding awareness of our higher consciousness, the freedom to live fully from the goodness of our divine essence. Divine wisdom guides and directs as we follow our highest vision. And I accept that we are each open to all that is possible and choose our personal and perfect experiences, knowing that God is the center of each activity. We express life from a place of compassion, love, peace, and joy, and empathy for all. We create a world that is a reflection of our inner divine beauty, recognizing the divine in each other. The healing Spirit of God is active in each prayer request, revealing itself in the perfect outcome. Each person is divinely guided into the perfect solution, activity, or situation that fulfills the highest outcome for all. And each request is already manifesting in wholeness, perfection, and completeness. The Spirit enfolds each in its unconditional love. We are blessed by this service, the staff and the volunteers that lovingly create a space as we open to a greater consciousness of Spirit. And we are blessed by the light that radiates from each one of us here today. In great gratitude for this truth that is always available, and thankful for the freedom that we have to express our uniqueness, I just release this word into the law, knowing it is already so in the mind of God, as we join together and declare, and so it is.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before.
I'd like to call your attention to the prayer chest just on the table right behind the sign. If there is something that weighs heavily on your heart, something that is interfering with you knowing the truth of yourself, please put your prayer request in the box, and I'll be doing affirmative prayer this week on your behalf. And my quotes for today. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Sigmund Freud. And from Ernest Holmes, if we want freedom, we must understand that freedom is born finally and only in such degree as some system is devised, whereas individuals are allowed complete freedom so long as they do not, in their freedom, impose bondage on someone else.
Thank you, Lou. Those are great. Love that Ernest Holmes one. So hi again. This month, in honor of our focus, Let Freedom Ring, we've been talking about the idea that was presented by Ernest Holmes in his July 4th speech that I read on the first Sunday. And he talked of liberty, but not license. And liberty without responsibility is license. And I just got intrigued by that idea and started looking up what does all of this mean, and came across some really good materials that I want to share with you about the responsibilities of freedoms. So, I've been looking at myself and how I'm thinking about the world events. I mean, we have all of these things going on, and everything seems to be escalating, and everything's about freedoms and rights, and I really wanted to get straight in my own mind, and so I've been thinking a lot about these ideas. I've been looking at balancing out my rights or my freedoms with the responsibility that I have to keep those freedoms for myself and for others alive and well. And what does that mean to take responsibility for the rights and freedoms that I claim to be mine as a free citizen of this country? So today I'm sharing information again, as I will be all month, from the writings of Darren Walker. He is the president of the Ford Foundation, and he wrote an article called 4 Freedoms, 4 Responsibilities, which was a response to the 4 Freedoms speech that was given in 1941 by Franklin D. Roosevelt, and he outlined 4 essential human freedoms. The first being freedom of speech, press, expression. The second, freedom of worship. And this week we're looking at the 3rd freedom that Roosevelt was talking about from his speech, and that is the freedom from want. Okay? So in Roosevelt's original speech, he said, the third is freedom from want, which, translated into world terms, means economic understandings, which will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. Is anyone interested in a healthy, peacetime life? Yeah. Oh, one, thanks, yeah, okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so Darren Walker writes in his article, what do we mean by freedom from want? He says, we all want something: successful careers, flourishing relationships, healthy and happy families. And in no doubt we live in a country and at a time where if you want any material thing, you can get it pretty quickly. Just go online and you can get almost anything in 2 days delivered right to your door. When President Roosevelt first articulated this idea in 1941, the United States had just begun to emerge from the Great Depression, the worst financial and economic crisis in its history. So one can imagine just how distant the promise of this ideal was from the lived reality of many Americans at that time. Similarly, when we think about freedom from want today, it can be equally hard for us to imagine a world where this freedom is universally experienced by all, especially when so many people feel economically vulnerable. Freedom from want isn't just about material possessions. It goes far deeper than that. When President Roosevelt defined freedom from want, he included in part the ability to achieve what he called a healthy peacetime life. That healthy peacetime life means security and contentment, which is precisely why so many people from around the world are drawn to live and work in the United States. Freedom from want is beautifully depicted in Norman Rockwell's famous painting by the same name. It shows a family gathered around the dinner table, ready to eat, and toward the center of the painting is a turkey, the staple of a traditional Thanksgiving feast. But it's not the food that's striking, it's the faces. Every one of them is glowing, happy, and content. This is the lived experience of freedom from want. Sitting with friends and loved ones, celebrating all we have and all we can be grateful for. In the end, freedom from want not only inspires feelings of contentment and joy, but it also frees us to follow our passions, discover our talents, and cultivate our skills. No longer bound by the burden of want, of making ends meet, or meeting basic needs, we have the freedom to enjoy our lives, find fulfillment, better our communities, and increase our collective understanding of one another and the world. We are liberated to reach our highest potential as individuals and as members of a society. That is why it remains such a compelling and desirable ideal even today.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I think I'm on a journey just to see what I can see. I seem to climb a mountain path, cliffs overlook the sea. The forest floor will make my bed under a canopy of green. The leaves are colored as in autumn on a tree, a living tree. Then the seed is falling to the earth. As it sprouts, I hear the pounding surf. I look up and I know I'm free. I feel it deep inside of me. If you had wings, would you fly? If you could sing, would you try? If you only know the feeling, you wouldn't pass it by. Just listen to your heart and feel it deep inside. Sometimes I think I'm on a journey just to see what I can see. I seem to climb a mountain path, cliffs overlook the sea. forest floor will make my bed under a canopy of green. If you had wings, would you fly? If you could sing, would you try? If you only knew the feeling, you wouldn't pass it by. Just listen to your heart and feel it deep inside. If you had wings, would you fly? If you could sing, would you try? If you only knew the feeling, you wouldn't pass it by. Just listen to your heart and feel it deep inside. If you had wings, would you fly? If you could sing, would you try? If you had wings.
Thank you. Darren continues in his article. He says, I have been fortunate enough to enjoy the benefits of this freedom, the freedom from want, despite forms of inequality that I experienced in my own life. I was born in a poor Louisiana town and started life in a little shotgun house in rural Texas, raised by a single mom. Needless to say, growing up wasn't easy. We didn't have a lot, and there have been times in my life when, as a gay black man, I felt I did not belong at that Norman Rockwell dinner table. And yet, I too have been lucky to enjoy freedom from want because of the generosity and service of other people. I was very fortunate that my mother moved my sister and me out of that poor town in Louisiana to a place where my mother had more economic opportunity and was able to study to be a nurse. And I was fortunate that, even though we were by no means wealthy, my mother worked hard to ensure my sisters and I never wanted for love. I also was fortunate that, in 1965, a young woman asked my mother to sign me up for the first class of the Head Start program. I was fortunate to attend good public schools, to learn from good teachers, to receive Pell Grants and private scholarships to pay for college. In other words, at every step in my journey, I was fortunate because people in my life and my community took the initiative to sacrifice and serve, which benefited me and many others in the process. While we all have very different experiences, I do not believe it is too great a leap to assume that if you too are privileged to experience freedom from want, it's because people in your life served you and your community. We all feel grateful for those people in our lives and communities, from parents and grandparents, to teachers and peers, to friends and co-workers and employers, to doctors and nurses, to public officials and unsung heroes, who, through their service, have made our opportunities possible, our livelihoods safer or more secure. And if this is true, then just as people have served on our behalf or created the conditions for our success, we have an obligation to serve others in return and extend this freedom from want, especially to those who do not have those privileges that we enjoy. He says, with the freedom from want comes the responsibility to serve. This is true in our own lives and immediate circles. It also extends to our communities and cities and countries as a whole. There are plenty of people across this country and around the world who do not enjoy the healthy peacetime life that flows out of the freedom from want. On the streets of Chicago, people yearn for an end to violence and for economic opportunity. In the mountains of Appalachia, poverty keeps families trapped generation after generation. On tribal lands across the American West, freedom from want remains another unfulfilled promise. In these places and many more, we all have the responsibility to serve. Otherwise, that grander bargain we made with one another, the social contract that lives in America's founding documents and holds us all together, it starts to unravel. As inequality grows, our agreement with ourselves and one another comes undone. A democratic society cannot truly flourish if the people, or any subset of the people, do not believe they have equal access to its freedoms, its opportunities, and resources. To create the conditions for our democracy to be healthy and vibrant, to continue and thrive, we must root out the inequality that undermines our success. And to do that, we must first accept and embrace the responsibility we have to serve one another, to reach across society's many gaps and aid those who are grappling with the debilitating consequences of inequality. Given the many kinds of want and the many forms of inequality that exist in our communities, we must be prepared to remedy them with different types of service. Each of us has a responsibility to determine how we can best serve each other. For some, this may mean volunteering in local schools and community centers, or mentoring young at-risk children in desperate need of encouragement and inspiration. For others, it may mean directly engaging with philanthropic work being done by countless organizations throughout the country and around the world. The service we can contribute is often directly proportional to the amount of privilege we have, be that the time, the talent, or the treasure that we have to give. In order to enact true and lasting change, we must address the root causes of injustice and the underlying sources of human suffering. And we must use our privileges and exercise the freedoms that we do have in order to extend those privileges and freedoms to other people. That is what we must demand of our own service. Ultimately, the condition of our lives is intimately interconnected with that of others. When those around us lack equal rights, the quality of all of our livelihoods come under threat. As long as income inequality, racial inequality, gender inequality, religious inequality, or any other form of inequality exists among us, the social bonds holding us together will continue to be strained. We will continue to be divided on the basis of race or gender or class or sexuality or religion or physical ability. That is why we must root out inequality in society. If we don't, we will continue to see large subsets of our communities struggle to live safe and healthy lives that are free from want. But if we commit ourselves to mitigating inequality through acts of service toward others, to viewing the well-being of others as an extension of our own security, then we will make we the people stronger than ever before. We will affirm that self-evident truth, that all people are created equal, and all people are deserving of the same opportunities to succeed and flourish in this life, a peaceful, healthy life. So let us come together, he says, in the spirit of service and implicate ourselves in the struggle of those in need and truly, truly become our neighbor's keeper. Let us do the work necessary to ensure all people, regardless of age, race, gender, sexuality, religion, or ability, all people have the opportunity to live a healthy peacetime life that is brimming with the promise of freedom, freedom from injustice, freedom from inequality, freedom from want. That's the end of Darren Walker's article. And the message that I hear being conveyed here is that freedom from want means the reality of all people to be lifted from striving in life to thriving in life, making that next step, moving from striving to thriving. And the path forward in creating this reality, he says, is to serve each other. So I thought that was a very interesting responsibility on this one. I loved it and started looking into that. I found this quote by Leo Tolstoy. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. Just take that in. That's a really big statement there. The sole meaning of life, he thinks, is to serve humanity. So looking around on the internet, I've had a little time to do that. I found Meg Nocero on her blog, Butterflies and Bliss. Isn't that nice? Butterflies and Bliss. She writes about service. She says, what does it mean to be humane? Is it a life marked by compassion, sympathy, or consideration for other humans and animals? Is it an awareness of the essence of the other? Is it the embodiment of respect to love our neighbors like we would like them to love us? She says, I believe the answer to these questions is a clear and resounding yes. And where the goal in life is to be humane, in direct connection with others, then the best way to do this is to be of service. For I believe that we are here to serve with love, with joy, and with a humane consciousness that will catapult a deeper sense of peace in a world that is challenged by turmoil and strife. If more of us start to embrace service as the sole meaning of life, we will have a greater impact on how our lives are actually lived. Service can come in so many different shapes and forms. When we share our life struggles with another who is hurting, we are in service from a place of love and compassion. When we use our talents and our genius to heal society, we are in service from a place of magic and miracles. When we extend ourselves and go outside our comfort zone to connect or reach out to another who is alone or lost, we are in service from a place of unity. When we remember that our lives have true meaning when we serve humanity, we start to truly feel alive and on purpose at the same time. Anybody want to feel alive and on purpose at the same time?
Yes.
I do. So where you can, be a person of service as you allow your heart to sing and dance, living out why we are all here in the first place. And in the words of Gandhi, he says, service to humanity results in oneness. It brings hope and life to the downtrodden and the disheartened. When peace and harmony becomes the main cause of every kind of service rendered, boy, I want to say that again. When peace and harmony becomes the main cause of every kind of service rendered to the nation and its people, it becomes the service to God. So, some personal stuff here from me. As most of you know, Roy and I have been involved in a very large project together called Building a Home. And actually, he's doing most of the work, almost all of it. Thank you. And just the other day, I was looking at the house with him, and I was thinking how hard it's been for me to see his original vision for this house and to get in on that vision with him so that I can help him bring his vision to fruition. That's what I'd like to do. Things like the layout of the house, or just the colors, or the walls, or the landscape, or actually everything. You know how somebody has a vision in their head? It's really hard to get into that head and see what their vision is. And in my experience, I found it hard for me to convey my vision to someone completely so that we can all be on the same page in creating it. And you may have had that same experience if you were trying to create something with a host of volunteers eager to help. Anybody have that before? More often than not, some people come with their own idea of what it should look like. They aren't shy about telling me that and how it should be or what might work better. And I find it so refreshing when someone giving service comes with an empty mind and a full heart. Not attached to the outcome, but just willing to help see my vision through. No attachments. At total service to me. Selfless service is the word that came to me. And I thought at that time, yes, selfless service. That's what I want to talk about. What a beautiful, beautiful gift to give someone selfless service. So I'm off on another path of selfless service, and on a website called yogamatters.com, I found a blog from Emma Newland titled, "What Yoga Philosophy Teaches Us About Selfless Service." I'm just going to share a little bit of this with you. She says, volunteering, helping others, or practicing selfless service can decrease blood pressure and chronic pain, boost mood levels, strengthen the immune system, and even increase longevity. Indeed, a huge part of the practice of yoga off the mat is dedicated to karma yoga and the path of selfless service. Karma yoga is about acting or giving without the need to see results and without the expectation of reward. It is this way of living, Krishna says, that can help free the mind from the binds of anxiety and anguish and propel us towards a life of true purpose and enlightenment. Or I would say, from freedom from want. In truth, we're all constantly engaged in action, whether it's the act of thinking, speaking, giving, making, working, or scrolling endlessly through social media. But the way we act can transform the way we feel on a daily basis. Scientists are currently studying the helper's high phenomenon. This occurs when we do something good for the sake of doing it. The helper's high. It seems that when we choose to engage in the act of doing without giving thought to what we'll subsequently get in return, then we're able to be far more present and mindful than when we're thinking about the rewards we might reap. And indeed, engaging fully in action is part of the practice of mindfulness itself and the way to live a happier life. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, don't do any task in order to get it over with. Resolve to do each job in a relaxed way with all your attention. Enjoy and be one with your work. There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. In their book, The New Health Rules, Dr. Frank Lipman and Danielle Claro recommend selfless service as a way to simply improve physical and emotional health. Forget pay it forward or anything about karma. This is just about being nice and good with no expectations of reciprocity. Reciprocity. Woo. Thank you. Or personal gain. Let someone cut ahead of you in line. Listen to someone who needs an ear. Give a compliment you really mean. Make your default mode one of generosity. It's a nice way to live, and it's contagious. And then Emma continues. She says, selfless service can help us connect to others in a genuine and meaningful way. When we act from a place of non-expectation, we tend to act not from a place of ego and I, me, or my, but from a place closest to our true self. The more we engage in selfless service, the more we begin to move past the ego, past any self-judgment and comparison, past sensations of greed and attachment, and ever closer to connecting with our truest, highest self and the true meaning of yoga. So I'd like to share with you just some spiritual benefits of selfless service. This is by Sant Rajinder Singh from the Sikh religion. It says, your status will rise in the eyes of God if you do a noble gesture which leads to the relief of another human being's suffering. Your status will rise in the eyes of God. He goes on to say, true selfless service encompasses helping more than our own physical family. It includes all humanity. It is a high quality to have feelings of love for all people, both those we know and those who are strangers. It is one of the goals of spirituality for humanity to develop the quality of love and service to all. The Sufis say that God made human beings to give love and service to others. If he wanted devotion alone, he had angels. But human beings are the only form of creation who have the godly capacity to love and serve others. To become a complete human being, we need to have this ability. Selfless service presents to us a paradox. To truly perform selfless service, one must act without any desire for a reward or a recognition. It is given freely, motivated by an innate desire to help another. At the time of giving, one forgets one's own needs and wants, as well as one's comforts and safety, to help someone else. There are even those who give their own lives to save others. Truly selfless people do not expect anything in return for their deeds. The underlying paradox of selfless service lies in the fact that while wanting no reward, selfless service elicits the highest reward, and that is the pleasure of the Lord. And I would call that the grace of the divine. Okay? This benefit may seem to be intangible, but for those of us who are interested in our spiritual development, it is the highest gift we can receive in life. One reaps the benefits when one sits in the silence of one's own self and finds the inner door of light, love, and peace open with ease. These treasures flood selfless souls, filling them with inner joy and fulfillment beyond any we can receive from worldly attainments. When we help someone, our heart expands. It reaches out to embrace another as a member of one human family. This act alone opens up our soul. As our love flows out, as our love for others flows out, God's love for us can pour in. As this exchange takes place, our soul currents begin to rise up to the point at which we can experience the divine light within us. Oh, sounds awesome. Thus, it is through selfless service that we speed up our progress towards the attainment of inner peace and ecstasy, or I would say the freedom from want. He continues, by serving selflessly, we expand our hearts from our own self to our family, to our community, to our country, to the world, and ultimately the cosmos. Selfless service comes from an understanding that we are all members of one large family of God. People who have given of themselves have helped improve the quality of life on this planet. Throughout the ages, some have worked tirelessly to cure diseases or to make discoveries and inventions to make people more comfortable and safer. Others have given their lives for the freedom and the rights of others. Some have devoted their lives for the spiritual upliftment of others. Each of us, in our own sphere, can use our God-given talents and our knowledge and skills selflessly to make a contribution, to make the world a better place for all of life. So I leave you today with the idea. The idea is freedom. With the freedom from want comes the responsibility to serve. And in order to move as a whole nation or world from striving to thriving, we must serve each other in some way that makes sense for us. We can start in our thoughts. We can start in our desires, our thoughts and desires for love and peace and abundance for each other, like our mission or our vision statement says. And then it translates into compassionate actions, lifting those who need it most to that great ideal that Franklin Roosevelt was speaking about, called the four freedoms, the freedom from want. So my question becomes to myself here, my inner reflection, which we're all going to do right now, is how will I serve? What can I give rather than what can I get? How can I serve humanity right now, right where I am in this very moment? Am I being called to the mindset of unity and harmony? To help my fellow human, my neighbor, my friend, or the one that challenges me? Am I being called to stand strong in kindness, listening, hearing, serving from a sense of collaboration instead of competition? What is mine to do? And how will I serve today, right now? I invite you right now to go within your own center space and rest in the presence of your source. Turn within and be still in your thoughts for just a moment.
How may I serve you? What may I help you do this day?
let's just take this moment to allow that divine presence to come forth into your attention and feel the presence in your being. Actually feel that expanded love in your heart and feel your connection with the infinite invisible source of all, the truth of all, and trust this source. Trust this source that breathes you. Trust yourself. That divine intelligence swiftly guides you. That divine intelligence informs you. And accept the clarity right now. Know your perfect life of service is available and waiting for you. How will you serve? I ask my innermost self, how can I serve right now? And as I offer my selfless service, as I focus my attention on the needs of others, I feel a calming presence within me. My whole being begins to thrive. And I realize that feeling is gratitude. I am so grateful.
God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moon glow. God, you are every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe, and your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
Okay, as the ushers come forward, this is our time for celebrating the abundance and the law of circulation. So if you'll take your gift in your hand, knowing that this is a symbol of the abundance of God, the everlasting supply of my life. And as I share my faith, I am affirming my faith in the ongoing law of circulation. And our affirmation: I am a magnet for prosperity as I praise what I love and enjoy.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. One more time. I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And these gifts are gratefully received, pressed into service for the highest good of our center, our community, and the world. And so it is.
Thank you, Lou. So I'd just like to welcome anyone who is here for the first time. If you're here, welcome to CSL for the first time. Welcome. Our Oming Pigeon is here for the first time. If you have questions about the center, Tamara will be hanging around up here for a while. She can answer any questions that you may have. She also has the little dealie to swipe your credit card or debit card if you choose to give a tithe in that way as well. Tamara will be doing that from up here. Also call your attention to the prayer request forms behind the sign on the table. Really encourage you to fill out a prayer request form if you have a challenge, or maybe you have a new adventure in your life that you would like some prayer work on. Lou so graciously has been taking those prayer requests and including those in her prayer time during the week. So thank you so much, Lou, for that. And fill out a prayer request form because prayer is where it's at, just saying. Okay? Okay.
Only that we're expecting friends of this pigeon, more pigeons next week.
Everybody will get a pigeon next week.
Everybody gets a pigeon.
Oh, God. Okay, so on your paper, we're at our repetitive affirmation 5 times, and these go right straight down. And this is talking about I am free. So let's really hear it from you. We'll just do all the way down here. Here we go. I am free
To question everything.
I am free to find my own truth. I am free to look at the world differently. I am free to explore my potential. I am free of the doubts of others. And so it is.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
All right, our last affirmation. This is what we need to keep in mind and keep remembering. Here we go. My soul is eternal and my mind is free. Woo!